Jan Blachowicz, the former light heavyweight champion, the legendary Polish power, is fighting a kickboxer in Aleksander Rakic who is so skillful, who is so technical, who has so much power, but is oftentimes lauded as boring because he has these point fights. He has these kind of low volume fights. Now, I was looking at some stats for him, and aside from one fight, I think the most significant strikes that he's landed in is like 6 UFC fights, maybe 5 of the 6 of them, or 46 and under. And then he had one fight against Justin Ledet, who is a kickboxer himself. I don't think he's in the UFC anymore, but he landed like 100-something significant strikes. A lot of it was just ground and pound work right there. So this could be a very low-scoring bout in terms of volume. This could be a very technical 5-round, I don't want to watch this anymore. This could be a Thiago Santos versus Aleksander Rakic all over again, honestly. But it could also not be. Jan Blachowicz has to be more motivated than ever, given that he just held gold around his waist, around his shoulder, loses it kind of immediately. Like what? His title defense was Israel Adesanya. So you defended your title against a middleweight, and then you lose it to the oldest light heavyweight in the division. How much of a chip on his shoulder do you think Jan Blachowicz holds going into this Rakic fight?
And he doesn't get the instant rematch, Derek.
Yeah.
He has to have a massive chip on his shoulder, man. The Polish power is getting overlooked by all the powers that be out there, man. And you know it has to weigh on him heavy because you're going in, like you said, man. You finally get gold around your waist. Was the stoppage of Dominic Reyes a little soon? You could debate that one, but I think it was a good stoppage either way. Jan Blachowicz had the gold and then comes in and defends it, yes, against a smaller guy, Izzy, but he showed that he's a good wrestler out there. Then going against Glover, Glover does what Glover does best, man, shows up when it does. So now this is the time for Blachowicz to actually come in and prove that he's the real deal number one contender because a lot of people, man, 2-3 years ago, Rakic was on top. Everybody was claiming this is going to be the next champion. Now Blachowicz has the time to come in and actually prove that he's the real deal. I don't think he's going to make this a boring fight. I think Blachowicz is going to come in, put the pressure on, prove that he's the better fighter, better wrestler out there, get the win and get things going if he can. I don't think he's going to we already saw the picks, so I'm going with Rakic, but I don't think Blachowicz is going to make this a boring fight. I think with the pressure he provides, Rakic is going to have opposition coming back at him to get the pressure off him. You know what I'm saying, man? Because that Polish power is real deal. You don't want this dude on the front foot the entire time while you're trying to point fight.
Yeah, I agree with you. The one thing that I see being an advantage for Aleksander Rakic going into this fight is that his long-range capacity is kind of deadly, right? He could hit you from so far away. He's 6'4", so he has a 2-inch height advantage on Blachowicz. Same reach, but he uses those long legs to close a lot of distance, man. Those head kicks, body kicks, leg kicks. I mean, look at what he did to Anthony Smith, man. He just butchered the man's leg, immobilized him, took him down, and then ground and pounded him for the rest of the fight. Now, do you want to take a grappling approach against Jan Blachowicz? Probably not, right? I mean, that's literally his specialty. I mean, Jan Blachowicz is a legit striker. He's got bombs in his hands, but lest we forget, he kind of came into the UFC just snatching necks, choking people out, have a great submission game. He has more submission wins than he does have knockout wins on his record, by the way. So I don't think that would be the best decision for Rakic, but I do think that how does Jan Blachowicz get the takedown? How does he get Rakic to the ground? You have to get past those legs, past those arms, and I just don't know, man. Aleksander Rakic is such a talented kickboxer. I just think that it's not necessarily out of the realm of possibility, but I think it's low percentage that it's going to happen. Now, AJ, do you think Rakic gets a little bit of a bad rap because of that boring label that is on him? Like, I feel like people just don't want to watch him, but sometimes when you're so technical, when you're so good at not getting hit and nullifying some of the baddest strikers out there, the Thiago Santos, look, he had a split decision loss against Volkan Ozdemir, another banger right there. Knocked out Jimmy Manuwa, knocked out Devin Clark, but when you're able to nullify some of these like high-level strikers, you get called boring, and then people discredit you. But do you think it's deserved or not?
I mean, I don't think so. I don't think it's deserved at all, especially from someone who likes striking and sees the technique behind it and the chess match that's going on. I enjoy seeing those technical fights, but I can see how a lot of people think it's boring, especially because once you're up there in the upper echelons of the division, everybody's a really good striker for the most part, So it's they see things coming. As boring as a point fight really can be, I find it interesting, but I can see how other people don't.
Well, so with that being said, man, Jan Blachowicz coming in as a plus 140 underdog, that obviously means the odds makers are seeing a lot of favor with the minus 160 favorite in Aleksander Rakic. It was kind of blew my mind a little bit because I was like, this dude was just the champion, and now he's being overlooked. And obviously, like you said, the TLDR, we're both rocking with Rakic. both rocking with Rakic in this pick right here. But it made me feel like I was like, am I discounting the champ? Am I discounting Jan Blachowicz? Am I just kind of like sweeping him under the rug? And I don't think so, because the other thing you have to consider is the age gap right here. Blachowicz is what? 39, right? Rakic is 30. So this is a major youth discrepancy right here. And what does it mean to you that Jan Blachowicz not only got his chin tested against Glover Teixeira, but he also got taken down and kind of mauled on the ground? Because Rakic is a good grappler too, and that power is probably Yuri Prochazka-esque right there. Maybe not there, but I think it's up there. So what does it mean to you?
Yeah, if his power isn't Yuri Prochazka, it's right under it, man. Rakic has some serious heat on his hands. I'm interested because when going into this fight, I instantly thought Blachowicz. Like, this dude has all the skills, and I started really breaking it down. Like, maybe not, man. If Rakic can fight like he did back, a couple years ago, especially with the Jimmy Manuwa, the Devin Clark on the come up, even the Anthony Smith fight, like you said, very devastating fight, just boring to some people. If he can fight that way, he's going to do very, very well, man. And especially if he can put Jan Blachowicz in a position where he doesn't feel comfortable, like on his back, like Glover did, where Rakic is actually controlling the entire fight. Then we're going to see really how Blachowicz actually responds to pressure, man. Because as far as, going through his whole career, it's never been really the domineering performance where he's always, no matter what, no matter how big the mountain is, he's going to win. So if Rakic can do that, provide that big mountain, then we're going to see kind of how Blachowicz stands, fights, whatever it is. But either way, I think if Rakic can do it, man, that's when we really start getting the fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. The last thing that I want to take away from Jan Blachowicz in that 5-fight win streak that he had when he had claimed the belt and all that good stuff, within that streak, 2 of the fights that he had in that streak were against either 185ers or 185ers who moved up to 205. So Israel Adesanya, but that's the champ though. But it's still a big win, but it's a 185er, right? And he also had when he knocked out Luke Rockhold, who moved up from 185 to 205, and it was his 205 debut in the UFC, and he got starts right there. So I kind of want to put that out there. You also have wins against Jacare, Corey Anderson, Dominic Reyes. Like, you can't take anything away from that. But Alexander Rakic, you also have a hit list. Like I said, Thiago Santos, Anthony Smith, Jimmy Manuwa, Devin Clark, right? All that good stuff. So I would just kind of leave that there. Alexander Rakic, as a striker, I think has the edge. Blachowicz, I do think, has the grappling edge. Leg kicks are going to be something that we're going to need to watch out for. I think that could change the entire trajectory of this fight. But the big key right here, AJ, is the props. Now, I think Alexander Rakic, this is me personally, this is a man who has 4 decision wins in his short 16-fight career. Jan Blachowicz has much more experience, but like I said, he's also an older fighter, 11 decision wins for him. I think Alexander Rakic could pull out a points victory right here. I don't really see a knockout coming out because Jan Blachowicz has only been finished twice. Don't really see a submission. So on points for Alexander Rakic right now, we're looking at plus 175, brother. The odds makers really like that one. I mean, plus 175 is pretty low. However, for Jan Blachowicz, for TKO, plus 425, submission, plus 100. Interesting. Let's keep that in mind. And on points, plus 400. So the odds makers are thinking if Rakic wins, it's by decision. If Blachowicz wins, it's probably going to be by submission, which I think is very, very interesting. However, the question now comes down to you and me. What do you like for a prop right here that you're willing to roll on this week for UFC Vegas 54?
Yeah, I like the Rakic by decision, by points. I like that one a lot, especially like you said, plus 170. I like that going into it because I agree. That's exactly the note I have right there too, man. Rakic is more likely to win a point fight, where Blachowicz is more likely to get the stoppage. I thought it was going to be KO TKO, but now going off that prop bet, that plus 100 for submission, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Blachowicz can get that submission. Which, if you're looking to get a Blachowicz win, I think that's a good prop bet to have. But like I said, I like a little bit more of the Rakic by points. What about you?
Yeah, I like Rakic by points right here, especially given that, let's look at the line. Minus 165, that's one thing right there. Or you could take the plus 175, right? So I'm going to take the plus 175 on Rakic. He is, if you look at his last 3 fights, they've all gone to decision. If you look at the last 2, he's been very comfortable with I don't need to rush things. I will take my time and I will get the decision win. This is a 5-round fight too. So over the course of 5 rounds, can Rakic just hold up and play that technical, inside of his game, that Rose Namajunas stick to the game plan? Maybe. I think so. So it looks like points across the board. The over and under on this one is 4.5 rounds. So clearly we're taking the over for both of us right there. And it looks like that is going to be the pick for your main event at UFC Vegas 54. Now,